In a relationship setting where there is conflict and there is disagreement and non-alignment, what matters to me is my response, because my response sets the stage, it sets the tone moving forward. If I reply in a defensive manner, if I react in an aggressive manner, if I react in a non-safe manner, it's on me. But if I can respond in a calm, non-judgmental manner, then I've made resolution a lot more possible and much more easily accessible. And the reason I bring this up is because I like to remind even myself that when we respond to our counterpart or our romantic interest, we're not trying to make our response seem perfect. Perfect in the sense like, oh, what's the best thing to say in return? Because you could say something that is best in return, but there's something really off about that. And that's why I'm making this little skit, to remind ourselves that there's a difference between responding in the best appropriate manner versus the best manner so that I don't upset my partner. Like when it comes to responding, yes, we respond in the most mature manner possible, but not at the expense of our own integrity, and certainly not with the intent to try to manufacture some type of outcome that is outside of our control. That's why our response, a mature response, it needs to be a natural default, a second nature, especially with our romantic interest. And that's someone who I think I might have once upon a time. And it's a really disturbing thing to reflect on when you literally drive your head crazy because you're trying to analytically think of all the best responses. You're trying to make your counterpart and romantic interest feel as comfortable as possible, but in doing so, they draw more distant from you. And in a sense, even my responses, I was still learning to becoming a lot more mature, but it wasn't natural yet. It still wasn't second nature. Maybe now, these days, it is becoming a little bit more like that. And there's something that reminds me of how to not be afraid of an outcome not going your way. And I suppose the thing that I'm not afraid of anymore, when you're like no longer afraid, you don't really care anymore, the other party can actually start to respect you more. Like when I was younger, a teenager, maybe a little bit more independent, at one point my mother threatened to kick me out of the home. This was an occurrence that happened every once in a while. And one time, she tried to manipulate me into agreeing with her. And I said, I don't really care. Like, if she's going to threaten to kick me out of the house and all this sort of stuff, I literally just didn't care. And then her whole mood just changed. Like, oh, really? And then nothing really happened from that. Things, I guess, went okay. But after I saw that response, after I saw that reaction when I was a teenager, and I started to see myself feeling this way again in my newer romantic relationships, where I don't care if you see someone else, I don't care if you snarl at me, I'm literally in a position where I can detach from this threat. I'm not in a position where things can be used against me. And so it's like I'm no longer afraid if a negative reaction comes about, even if I respond in a natural second nature response in a calm manner.